We're going to go to Ottawa right now, where the interim leader of the Conservative Party, Rona Ambrose, is giving a news conference. The Conservatives are trying to push the Trudeau government to declare what the ISIS terror group is doing in the Middle East as genocide. They want it to be classified as such. The United States has already done that. That happened months ago. Canada has not done it yet. Let's listen into what's going on right now in the Capitol.
Motion that's calling on the Liberal government to join our allies in recognizing and condemning ISIS actions for what they really are, a genocide. As everyone in the world is aware, the terrorist group ISIS continues to leave a trail of murder and destruction across an already unstable Middle East, and thousands of innocent lives have paid the price. As we speak, ISIS is systematically exterminating Christians, Assyrians, Yazidis, Shia Muslims, and other countless religious minorities in Syria and Iraq. They have tortured and beheaded children. They have raped women and sold them into sexual slavery. In fact, this week we just learned of another 19 Yazidi girls who were burned alive for refusing to become sex slaves to ISIS. Now, whether the Liberals want to acknowledge it or not, there is a word for what is happening. And this is a deliberate slaughter of specific groups of innocent people, and it's called genocide. So far, Canada's Minister of Foreign Affairs has avoided calling these actions genocide. He has said in the House of Commons that he wants to investigate whether or not genocide has taken place. And he has said that this may constitute a genocide. I believe, and those of us on the stage today and all the Conservatives in Parliament believe that what is happening, it is a genocide, and we believe it is time for the government to stand up and say the same thing. While the minister stalls, our allies are moving forward. So far, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry has said that ISIS is responsible for genocide against groups in areas under its control. In fact, on March 15th, the United States House of Representatives unanimously declared that genocide was taking place in Iraq and Syria by ISIS.
All right, so we're listening to interim leader Rona Ambrose for the Conservatives. The Conservatives want the federal government to officially accuse the ISIS terror group of genocide, saying that ISIS is responsible for crimes against humanity, utilizing rape and sexual violence as a weapon of war, and targeting gays and lesbians who have been tortured and murdered, which, as the Conservatives put it, constitute genocide. The United States did so months ago. Canada has yet to do so. Let's go to Ottawa. Mercedes Stephenson is standing by, following this for us closely. Mercedes, the Conservatives are accusing Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister Stephenson of a weak approach here and of stalling. Why the reluctance by the Trudeau government to call this genocide?
It's not entirely clear. Part of it seems to be that they think that they're giving ISIS credence every time they use strong language against them. They don't want to draw attention to them, so they avoid using language. They think that it's a strategic communications approach. The government has been reluctant to use certain terms, including genocide, and that's why you hear the official opposition pushing for it, pointing out that in the United States, the House of Representatives unanimously voted to condemn what ISIS was doing as genocide. And genocide is a particularly significant word when it comes to international affairs, Todd, because it can trigger certain kinds of reactions that are required when we talk about genocide. This all comes from past experiences where things that were genocide were not called genocide at the time, and in hindsight, international bodies would look back. For example, Rwanda, one of the biggest examples here of where people said this was a genocide. People weren't calling it a genocide at the time. If they had, perhaps the international community would have reacted more so in a military or an international affairs fashion. Now, the Conservatives aren't implying that there needs to be a stronger military response to ISIS necessarily, but they are saying that they believe that it is important that this group's actions be condemned because they believe that they are targeting specific groups, that they are executing them because of their religious or ethnic backgrounds, and that qualifies for genocide as a label.
All right, Mercedes Stephenson with the latest on the Conservatives asking for the government to declare this a genocide by ISIS in the Middle East. Thanks, Mercedes, for this.
You're welcome.